Perek Aleph Mishna Yud. This Mishnah is a continuation of last Mishnah, where we discussed a shiyara, a caravan, a shiyara shechonsa bebika, a caravan that encamped in some type of valley or field. And they want to be able to carry on Shabbos, so they built this fence, which is made up of 3 strings. Each one is within 3 tfachim of the one below it. And using the concept of Lavud, we can consider it 4 walls, and now you could carry within it. Our Mishnah gives us another way, another fashion of making a Lavud wall, by simply placing reeds next to each other. Each reed is within 3 tfachim of the one next to it, and therefore it's considered 4 complete walls. So the Mishnah says, Makifin bekonim, you could encircle yourself with reeds, ubelvad, providing shelo yehe, that there shouldn't be Bein kane lechavero, between one reed and his friend, shloisha tfachim, 3 tfachim. There shouldn't be a space, an area of 3 tfachim between each reed, and therefore we can consider this a Lavud wall. Now, these 2 types of walls, which use Lavud, are sort of inferior. They're substandard. They're not real, complete, good walls, because they're not such good partitions. There's pretty big spaces in between each string or each reed. And therefore, we don't allow you to always use these types of walls. And we're going to have a 4-way machlokas of when we actually allow you to use these encirclements. The first shita is Rabbi Yehuda, that we only allow you to use it with a caravan, which comprises of at minimally 3 people who are traveling. So you're travelers. So we give you a leniency of easily creating 4 walls. As the Mishnah says, B'shiyara dibru. We're talking about a caravan of 3 people traveling. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yehuda. V'chachamim omrim, and the chacham argue. They say, lo dibru b'shiyara. No, we're not talking about a caravan of 3 people. Elo b'hova. That's just a normal case where people travel in groups of 3. But in reality, any traveler has the right, any single traveler, any lone soldier, any lone traveler has the right to create these walls and can carry within them on Shabbos. Now we're going to have the 3rd shita. Kol mechitza, any wall, she'ena shel shesi v'shel eriv, that's not comprised of shesi, which are vertical strings or vertical reeds, v'shel eriv, and of horizontal beams or horizontal reeds. Eina mechitza is not a wall. Any wall that doesn't have reeds within 3 tfachim of each other, vertically and horizontally within 3 tfachim of each other, any wall that's not comprised of both horizontal and vertical beams is not considered a halachic wall. Divrei Rabbi Yossi bar Rabbi Yehuda. These are the words of Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda. V'chachamim omrim, and chachamim say, echad mishnei dvarim. You only need one of the 2. Either horizontal is sufficient or vertical is sufficient. You don't need both. Now, this chachamim's shita seems similar to the chachamim earlier in the Mishnah. However, there's a big difference. The first chachamim, they held that any lone traveler is allowed to use these types of fences. This Chachamim, later on in the Mishnah, is even more lenient. They hold echad mishnei dvarim. You either need vertical or horizontal strings. Even if you're not a traveler, you're allowed to use these. Meaning the second sages, the second Chacham in the Mishnah hold that anyone has the right to use these types of walls, not only travelers. The first Chachamim held only travelers are allowed to use these walls. Now, once we're talking about leniencies that we give to travelers, the Mishnah, the last part of the Mishnah, talks about 4 leniencies that we give to traveling soldiers. Traveling soldiers have to sort of make do with what they have, and therefore we give them certain leniencies. As the Mishnah says, Arba'a devarim, 4 things, 4 halachos, patru b'machane, are exempt in a machane, in a camp of soldiers. Number 1, mevi'in eitzim, they could take wood, mikol malkum, from any area. Meaning if you have your own wood, the soldiers are allowed to steal your wood. Even if you have bundles of wood, they're allowed to take them. For national security, it's not considered stealing at all. Soldiers are exempt from washing their hands before eating bread. They don't need to wash. Number 3, umidamai. They are exempt from damai. Damai is meiser, is food that you bought from an am ha'aretz. Usually we don't assume he gave meiser, and you have to give damai, which is you're being mafresh, you're tithing this food because you're assuming that the am ha'aretz didn't. And we're saying that soldiers don't need to do that. And number 4, umila orif. Soldiers don't need to make eruvin chatzeris. Now, eruvin chatzeris simply means that if you're in a campsite, and you have different tents within the campsite. So generally speaking, there's a decree that prohibits you from carrying from a singly owned area into a privately owned area. However, in a campsite made up of soldiers, we permit you to carry from the tent into the publicly owned area, and even from one tent into another tent. Now it's your turn to read the Mishnah.